Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Now, I think my internet's a bit glitchy today, but anyway, I'm going to do this live. I want to tell you about what's happening here. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just trying to set up my stage properly. It seems to be, I seem to be over on one side, don't I? Why am I over on that side? I mean, it doesn't matter, I suppose, but let's see, I should be in the centre. Ah, there you go, that's better. Okay, so I want to tell you about this. So, just first of all, thank you to everyone. I want to say my usual thank yous. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Special thank you to my members. Special thank you to those of you who support me with coffee donations, etc., or PayPal. Thank you to those of you who email me. This something I'm going to talk about now. There's two cases. Just briefly, I've got some Spanish classes later, so I can't stay on too long. But I've been wanting to talk about this, and I just haven't had the opportunity. So yeah, thank you to all of you who contribute to my channel in any positive way. Now then, I'll take the banner off. So, what one of there's so many missing people, aren't there, that we can't keep up with all the missing people. This particular video that I'm going to talk about is these two girls that both went missing around about the same time in Ireland. And the reason they're sort of being linked together is the man who is thought maybe to have ended their lives, Larry Murphy, who was arrested and was imprisoned for other crimes, who is now, by the way, out, free, living in London. If you live in London, Larry Murphy lives in London. He is a serial killer, basically, but he's free, he's walking free. Anyway, these are two other cases that he's been connected with, but these poor girls, they were never found. So it was never proven. You know, he has never been held to account or even charged or anything with these cases. Hi, Mark. Hi again. So, yeah, bear in mind this man is walking free. You know, these girls are dead, and he hasn't been convicted of killing these girls, but he is a killer, and he's an rapist. He's a bad person, whichever way you look at it. And there he is, free and wandering around London and all sorts of other places, probably. I mean, he can go wherever he wants now because he's a free man. Anyway, the news is these two girls, Deirdre Jacob and Jojo Dullard. I don't think I've done a specific video about Deirdre before, though she may have been included when I did the video about the disappearing triangle. There's a triangle, there's a lot of missing women cases in Ireland around the Wicklow Mountains. And, it's not thought if it's one perpetrator or more than one, but this guy, Larry Murphy, he's definitely in the frame for a lot of them, including these two girls. So apparently the Garda are searching an area because apparently, according to and it must be quite reliable information, because otherwise the police wouldn't be digging this place up. If it wasn't reliable, just because somebody says, oh, hang on, it's not come out on there. Just because somebody says, somebody did something, that's not normally a reason that the Gardaí or the police in any country would go and search an area. They need reliable information. So apparently Larry Murphy, this piece of work who is living free in London, I'm going to keep saying that because you know what? I don't know if he's changed his name or whether he's living under his original name. but that's where he is, and he's wandering around. He's probably got a girlfriend. He's probably got a job. He's probably, you might have met him if you live in London. You might have stood next to him in the supermarket. Anyway, apparently he buried 3 cars on land, and this land is now being searched in the Deirdre Jacob and Jojo Dullard probe. New Garda info details emerge. So this is sort of happening as we speak. I don't think the search has finished yet. It started yesterday, I think. So a man has claimed that evil rapist Larry Murphy buried 3 cars on land, now being searched by police, probing the cold case murders of Jojo Dullard and Deirdre Jacob. Now the thing is, that if that's true that he buried cars, what are the reasons why you would bury a car? Well, it could be for an insurance claim, couldn't it? You could say, 3's quite a lot though, isn't it? You could be saying that your car had been stolen so you can claim on the insurance. Or you could have bodies in the boot, of course, couldn't you? And what you have to remember, I'm sure it was this guy who was caught with a body in his boot. Wasn't he? Wasn't he the one, and the fishermen came, or the hunters came upon him? Anyway, it's logical to put a car in a boot. Look at, that's what people do. And then has he gone off and buried these cars? Do these cars have remains in them? Will the police even find any cars? Is it even true that there are cars there? But as I say, I don't think the police would have even started this excavation unless they were pretty confident that there was truth in it. So the major dig of a quarry on rural land along the Wicklow and Kildare border, around 8 kilometres from where Murphy lived at the time, continued yesterday. And there's the piece of shit himself. So here is, I think this is Jojo, isn't it? Yeah, this is Jojo. She went missing in 1995, and Deirdre Jacob went missing 3 years later in 1998. So apparently the information they're acting on is not new, but was flagged during an examination of the cases by the Garda Serious Crime Review team. Jojo went missing in 1995. Less than 3 years later, Deirdre disappeared in 1998. Both vanished without a trace before the cases were upgraded to murder in recent years. Oh my God, there's Andrew. I can't look at him. Let's get him off there. So yeah, initially they were treated as missing persons cases, and of course, the police always get a lot of criticism for that. They don't always believe the family when the family say these are not girls that would run off. So sometimes teenagers or young people, they do run away, but I think the police should take notice of what the families say. In these 2 cases of these 2 girls, they were not runaway. They did not have that sort of lifestyle where they would run away on a regular basis, or anything like that. Is anyway. So separately, a man who contacted the Irish Sun claimed his friend had previously informed him that Murphy arrived on the land with 3 cars on a truck sometime after the 2 women vanished. So can you imagine how their parents feel? After all this time, it'd be awful, isn't it? Because what you're hoping for is that your daughter's body is found, but so it's like you don't want them to be dead, of course you don't, but you're hoping that if they are, they will be found. You want to give them a funeral, you want to just know what happened to them, and you want the perpetrator of whatever happened to them to be held accountable, not wandering around London like Lord Muck. So he said that Larry Murphy ensured that the vehicles were buried very deep before he left the area. As I say, it could be an insurance scam. There are other reasons why you might bury vehicles. Sicko Murphy had been accessing the fields to go hunting and to practice shooting. And speaking to the Irish Sun yesterday, the man told us Larry Murphy came up with 3 cars and they were covered in. And this is a deep, deep quarry. Then his name became more linked to the cases and people were talking about him. I know a man who asked him to stop shooting on the land, and at the time Murphy was holding a rifle. And I remember my friend saying, you'd think it was the devil looking at you. Yeah, you wouldn't say to a man like Larry Murphy while he's holding a rifle, can't shoot here anymore, would you? He thought that Larry was going to shoot him on the spot. So the man spoke to Gardai over a decade ago, telling him of the information, and sources have confirmed he'll be spoken to again in the coming weeks. And he added, it could be a key, it could be an ID, it could actually be bodies. I hope they find something for those families. So the major search is expected to last until at least the end of the week. And sources also confirmed that witnesses who featured in the original cases may be re-interviewed. And one source told us the search being carried out is not new information received, but old information that came up in a review of both investigations when various strands of evidence were being examined. The view has been taken that it could be significant, and the search was given the go-ahead. So, of course, they have to get permission for all these things. They have to get their funds. I mean, this will cost a fortune. So it just shows they're not giving up. You know, they're not giving up. They're trying. If they don't find these girls, it won't be for lack of trying. They are trying to find them. The search will last a few days at least. It's very likely that witnesses will be spoken to again. So here you go. These are the 2 girls that are being linked. Jojo Dullard, Deirdre Jacob, Kilkenny. Jojo went, oh, that was her hometown. Kildare is Deirdre's hometown. Jojo was 21 when she disappeared. Deirdre was 18. They've got a sort of a physical similarity as well, haven't they? The hair and that. Jojo disappeared on November the 9th, 95. Deirdre disappeared July the 28th, 98. So in close proximity. Jojo was last seen in a phone box around 11:37. Yeah, it was Jojo, wasn't it, that she thought somebody had stopped to offer her a lift, and then that was the last she was ever heard of again. Deirdre was last seen around 3:30, crossing the road towards the entrance to her home. So, of course, when someone's last seen near their home or heading to their home, you always think the answers might lie closer to home, but I don't know about Deirdre's case, so I'd have to look into that more. So officers are looking for any evidence to shed any light on the murder mysteries, but are also looking for human remains. So Miss Dullard went missing on November the 9th, 1995 on her way home to Callan in County Kilkenny after socialising in Bruxella's bar on Dublin's Harry Street. And she missed her last bus to Kilkenny, and instead she boarded a 10 p.m. bus to Naas, County Kildare, intending to hitchhike the rest of the way home. Oh my God. She hitched a lift from Naas to the slip road on the M9 motorway at Kilcullen, County Kildare, and at 11:15 p.m. got another lift to Moon. And there she called her friend Mary Cullinan at 11:37 from a phone box, and she said the car had stopped for her, and a car had stopped for her, and she was going to take the lift. And this was the last known interaction with Miss Dullard. So she'd already had 2 lifts that night. She was lucky with them, and unfortunately for Jojo, it seems like it was 3rd time unlucky. Miss Jacob was last seen shortly after 3 p.m. near her home at Rosebery, Newbridge, in County Kildare on July the 28th, 1998. She was 18 at the time and had just completed 1 year at St Mary's University in London. So, notorious rapist Murphy is a person of interest in both of these cases, but is featured more prominently in the Jacob case because of various intelligence. A file was previously submitted to the Director of Public Prosecutions on Murphy in relation to the Jacob case, but the office ruled in 2022 that there wasn't enough evidence to charge the beast. I mean, they're openly calling him a beast because he has been, he has got convictions. It was alleged that Murphy, who fled to London in 2010, where he remains, admitted to the murder of missing teenager Jacob, telling a friend in prison, "I did Deirdre Jacob, all right." So, hi Steve, hi Admit, hi anyone coming in, hope I haven't missed anybody. But yeah, justice for these girls. Do you know what? Sometimes it's cold justice, but justice will do. Even cold justice will do. This man is a horrible man. He shouldn't be walking around free. So he's said to have made the boast to a killer pal during an ecstasy, cannabis, and vodka binge while he was caged for the rape and, oh God, I said the word, and false imprisonment of another woman. Now, if he's in prison, how is he having a ecstasy, cannabis, and vodka binge? For God's sake, God, just he's in prison. He's having an ecstasy, cannabis, and vodka binge. Bloody hell. Anyway, yesterday, retired Detective Garda Sergeant Alan Bailey said that the families of both women have had a lot of false dawns. I mean, this is the awful thing, isn't it? Every time you sort of get excited thinking you're going to get some answers, even though the answers are bad ones, that your daughter is dead, but at least that you got some answers, you might get some answers. And not only that then this Larry Murphy or whoever is guilty is going to get charged. And then it just falls through. He said even to find the bodies, so he was the national coordinator of Operation Trace, which probed missing female cases in the 90s. And he said even to find the bodies would bring huge closure to the families. They've had a lot of false dawns in relation to various searches over the years that didn't work out, and I'd be hopeful something will come up which will help the families on this occasion. So, as the Gardaí began searching the remote site on Monday, so we're now on Wednesday, so this would be the third day, Deirdre's parents, Michael and Bernadette, welcomed the news. And they said, we were made aware of a fresh search taking place, and we welcome this. All we can do is wait and hope that something positive comes from it. The search shows there is progress in the case, which remains active and ongoing. We would encourage anyone with the slightest bit of information to come forward and let the Gardaí judge it. We know this is an extensive investigation, but there could be information out there that can lead to a breakthrough. So this is where they're searching, I believe. Are there cars buried there? And do those cars contain the secrets of that could unlock these cases? It may not be remains, could be any sort of evidence that might be in there. Why has he buried 3 cars? Well, first of all, they've got to find the cars, haven't they, and see that is genuine, that he did bury 3 cars. And then if he did, what is in those cars? So Michael added, we would like to, this is Deirdre's dad, we would like to thank everyone who has shown us and other families support over the years. Our case is like a jigsaw, and we just need to find those missing pieces. So more prayers, we're looking for a lot of missing people at the moment in the cases that we cover on this channel. Nancy Guthrie, Jack and Lily Sullivan, Gus Lamont, etc. there's loads of cases, aren't there? But yeah, even more prayers are needed. Look at this area. I mean, apparently it's a beautiful area, but I think it's probably quite haunting. Is this Deirdre's parents? Yeah, this is Deirdre's parents. Bless. I hope you get your answers. Honest to God, I pray, Michael and Bernadette, I hope you get the answers what happened to your lovely daughter. And that somebody, justice for Deirdre and justice for Jojo. So more prayers needed for these girls. And as I say, if you're living in London, look out for Larry Murphy. Because he's walking free there, and if he's ever, he's a piece of shit. Whatever, he's an rapist, a convicted one. He's probably a serial killer. So watch out for this man if you're in London. He'll have a heavy Irish accent. Yeah. Scary, isn't it? They walk amongst us, these people. Do you know what? He's not been he's not been life. He's walking free. He's probably somebody's boyfriend, maybe someone's husband, maybe had children. Who knows what he's doing in London? He's just built a new life for himself. Whereas those two girls, they've had their lives taken away. So anyway, I've got to go. And do some work. Trabajar, enseñar un poco de español. Got to go and teach a bit of Spanish. But I may be back later. Thank you for caring about these girls and all the other cases that we talk about. Thank you for your support. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe if you've not subscribed. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, as always, may your God go with you. Bye-bye.